Local trade is poised for gains at the start of the new week. The rand weakened along with its emerging market peers on Friday as investors considered the prospect of delayed interest rate cuts by the Federal Reserve. While the markets closed in the green on Friday, it's been boosted by gains with miners and home builders. Simon Brown, JustOneLap founder, joins us now for an analysis of the latest developments. Good morning, Simon. Welcome to the program as always. Give us an overview on how the local index and the rand are faring so far today.
Imana, morning. We had expected, as you said, from the Friday close, we thought it could continue through. We had the US green, new highs from the NASDAQ, but we just couldn't hang on. We saw Asia weak, and our market is trading lower. The overall market down just over 1%, being led by financials, 1 1/3 lower. Resources also 1 1/3 lower. Industrials, sort of 0.75% down, but pretty much a sea of red across my screens. On the rand side, against the dollar, 19.27, so about 12 cents weaker from that Friday close. 24.42 against sterling and 20.87 against the euro. Quick look at the commodities. Gold 2,045, Brent 81.50, and the PGM's 903 for platinum and 977.5 palladium per ounce.
Well, oil, meanwhile, losing ground amid concerns that rate cuts would be delayed, and gold is edging away from what have been 2-week highs. What is driving these moves?
What we're seeing with oil, and you mentioned, Iman, you mentioned the rate cuts there, and when we came into the year, I mean, there had been the expectation in some quarters that we would see in the US rate cuts as soon as March. That's now gone out to June, and in fact some folks are saying even later, which means that the higher rates just remain. And of course that hurts consumers, you, I, and the viewers out there. It's hurting companies. They're sitting on debt as well. So it's just taking a drag off potential global growth in that regard, and that is what we're seeing oil lower. Gold coming under a little bit of pressure, but still nicely above the 2,000. It has kind of been doing the 220 to 250 move much of this year, and it's kind of sort of sitting there just in case. There's a lot happening this year. We've got 2 major conflicts. We've got 70 plus elections, and gold sort of the fear gauge and saying just be careful out there for now.
Speaking of pressure, Sasol's reporting a 34% decline in their half-year profit. What's driving it?
Yeah, so Sasol's got, in the one sense, oil. In the 80s it helps, but they've also got their chemical business. That is struggling. We've seen that from other petrochemical giants. I'm thinking most particularly Shell, BP as well, struggling in that regard. But also they're writing down. In other words, they've got giant assets, most notably Secunda, that has got a value on the balance sheet. And it gets technical, but essentially they're reducing that value because they're expecting lower profits going forward. In the case of Secunda, those lower profits are quite simply because of increased costs around environmental concerns. How do they make Secunda environmentally friendly? And the short answer is not easy and certainly not cheap either.
Well, let's move to Kenya then, and they've been placed on the Global Financial Watchdog's grey list. This is not something we're unfamiliar with here in South Africa, but that's due to its shortcomings in actually tackling the issue of illicit financial flows. What's going on there?
Yeah, so and much like we had, I mean, one of them, for example, is cryptocurrencies. You need some regulatory environment around cryptocurrencies. For example, our Financial Service Conduct Authority has started registering exchanges and providers as financial service providers. Kenya's behind the curve on that, and the FAFTA is frankly concerned. They also put Namibia back onto the list and took Uganda off. So, Uganda, it shows you that getting off the list is possible, but you've got to get those processes in place, particularly around flows of cash, and particularly when you're looking at sort of the unregulated space, such as crypto, it needs to be brought into regulatory environment.
All right, thanks so much. Looking forward to doing it all again tomorrow. OneLeap founder Simon Brown just sharing with us the very latest from the markets.